If you're thinking about relocating to Corvallis, Oregon, this is the video for you. Corvallis isn't the right place for everyone. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of living here so you can decide if it's the right or potentially wrong place for you to relocate to. My name is Clarity Odd, and I'm an active real estate agent who focuses on helping buyers relocate to Oregon. If you're ready to start planning your Oregon relocation, go down to the description below and book a one-on-one consultation with me. Okie dokie, let's jump right in. First pro on our list is the size of Corvallis. Corvallis has about 60,000 people, give or take, but beyond its small size, it is also a very well-connected town that has a great layout, which makes it incredibly easy to get around. And best of all, if you're somebody who is looking for a car-free lifestyle, you can definitely get around town on foot or by bicycle. This town is really set up to be very practical in its design, which means that you don't necessarily need a car to get around Corvallis proper. Corvallis is a really great place for bike riders because there is an extensive network of bike paths that covers a lot of the town. And these paths are going to be very well maintained. Biking here is accessible and more safe than a lot of other towns in Oregon. Because Corvallis is relatively small, it is not super sprawling like some of these other cities that we've talked about on my channel. And it's just a very accessible town overall. So whether you are wanting to walk around the downtown area or you are wanting to drive across town, everything's about 15 minutes away. And because Corvallis is relatively small and it is a university town, overall it just feels like everything is so well thought out in this town and it is just so easy to navigate. The next pro on our list is that Corvallis is pretty close to the Oregon coast. Corvallis is only about an hour or so drive from Newport, Oregon, which is the closest beach town. And while the drive is a little bit treacherous because you have to go through the Oregon coastal range, which just means that the roads are going to be windy and small and sometimes dark, but it is well worth the drive. So if you are somebody who wants to be positioned close to the Oregon coast, but you don't necessarily want to live on the coast, Corvallis can offer you great accessibility to that coastal vibe. Because Corvallis is located within the Willamette Valley, you are going to have access to an abundance of outdoor activities from hiking, biking, water activities, and literally anything else that you could think of, you can do. And most of these activities are just about a 30 to 60 minute drive in any single direction. In the Willamette Valley where Corvallis is located, it is the heart of Oregon, and it is so lush and green and abundant. It's just a great place to kick off any Oregon adventure. Now, you are also going to be surrounded by a lot of vineyards and farms and organic produce, which is really great for my friends who love the idea of farm-to-table living. Next on our list is that Corvallis is a university town. Corvallis is home to Oregon State University, which means that you are going to have an abundance of vibrancy and youthful energy throughout Corvallis because the university is such a center point for the entire town. Now, this also means that Corvallis tends to be pretty progressive and open-minded, and I personally love the university feel that Corvallis has because, first of all, the campus is just like gorgeous. The university just lends such a nice vibe to this small town. If you're watching this video about Corvallis, you might also be entertaining the idea of living in Eugene, which is another popular university town that we have here in the Willamette Valley. The biggest difference that I find in terms of the vibe between Corvallis and Eugene is that Corvallis just feels more approachable and laid back. Eugene is very similar and has a strong progressive vibrancy and vibe throughout the city, but because it has about 200,000 people, there's a little bit more, hectic energy thrown into the mix. Corvallis is very calm, it is very small, and it just feels more manageable. So if you're looking for a university town that has a very laid back, progressive, and very accessible for biking and walking around town, I would definitely encourage you to focus your search more heavily on Corvallis rather than Eugene. But I have made a whole playlist about what it's like living in Eugene, so if you want more of an in-depth comparison, be sure to check out some of those videos next on my YouTube YouTube channel. Next pro on our list is that Corvallis is just so cute and the downtown area is fantastic. As I've already mentioned, Corvallis has about 60,000 people, which means that you might expect the downtown area to be like, I don't know, one block and that's it. But downtown Corvallis is very cute and pretty robust for a town of its small size. I love going to downtown Corvallis, which really you can just spend the whole day exploring. There's so many great shops in the downtown area, and there's more than just like a single street to walk down. I personally love that I can go to Corvallis and find some really funky coffee shops. I can get myself a really eclectic drink and just surround myself by that cool vibrancy of the university. And for me, Corvallis feels like a level of nostalgia because it's really similar to a lot of neighborhoods in Portland. It feels very similar to Hawthorne Street in Southeast Portland and sometimes even Northwest 23rd. The downtown area really has this funkiness that is just so reminiscent of old-time Portland in the early 2000s and 2010s. Now, that's pretty specific, so let me reiterate and just say that downtown Corvallis, it has that progressive spirit and that youthful vibrancy that only a university town can really provide. But it is not so limited that you would think the downtown area only services 60,000 people. There are ample shops and boutiques and a great little hotel in the downtown area, and there's music shops and cafes. I mean, they've just got it all in Corvallis. All right, that's the good stuff. Let's talk about some of the bad things about living in Corvallis. The first con on our list is that it has a higher cost of real estate, and the real estate market, it is competitive. At the time that this video was filmed, the median sales price for a home in Corvallis was just shy of $523,000. Now, in my mind as a real estate agent, this number feels incredibly high for a town that only has 60,000 people. And I have clients who are looking in Corvallis and wanting to move, and it is just incredibly difficult to find them a house that doesn't have multiple offers and multiple buyers competing for that same house. And this feels different than some other cities around Oregon where the competition right now is just so much lower and the price tag is also lower. So Corvallis is a little bit unique, it is expensive, and you need to be prepared accordingly as a buyer. Real estate is all about supply and demand, and there's massive demand to live in Corvallis because, well, quite frankly, it's a great place to live. But the demand is not in line with the supply of homes that are available to purchase in Corvallis. Because there is more demand than there is supply, the price for real estate, it's pretty high in Corvallis. Now, I have worked with enough clients from YouTube who are coming from higher cost of living states who are probably thinking that the cost of real estate in Corvallis, that is just chump change and super affordable. So this is a relative point based upon where you are relocating from. But what I can tell you is that for around $523,000, which remember is that median home sales price point, you can expect a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that is typically going to need some level of renovating or updating. My clients who are relocating into Corvallis, when they typically say that it feels like an affordable place to live, their budget is around $700,000 or more, but they're coming from very high cost of living places like Seattle and California in the Bay Area. Comparatively, yeah, Corvallis is pretty cheap compared to those places. While there is some new construction going on in the northwest quadrants of Corvallis, there really isn't a lot of new construction going on, which is part of the supply issue in Corvallis. You don't have enough new construction homes going in to keep up with the demand buyers in Corvallis. And again, this just perpetuates the higher cost of real estate in Corvallis, because at the end of the day, there are not enough houses to go around for the amount of people who want to move into little old Corvallis. The next con to living in Corvallis is the fact that it is a university town. Now, this is also one of the pros on my list, but I'm putting it on the con list as well, because if you are not accustomed to living in a university town, you do need to prepare for university students to be everywhere. With university students also comes a lot of neighborhoods that are filled with rentals that are really tailored towards university students renting out these houses, which at the end of the day is not an issue. But if you are not accustomed to living in a town that has a lot of rentals and a lot of university students in certain sections of the town, this can definitely throw you off. The other thing that comes with living in a university town is university sports. Oregon State University is home to the Beavers, and football is pretty darn big for this town. So when football season comes around, everyone gets around, they get excited, they have their little beaver mascot, and I don't know, they go to the stadium and watch the game. That also means that when football season is going on, traffic is going to be a little bit worse, it's going to be more congested. It just, sports comes with a whole thing unto its own. The next con on our list is weather. Now, I struggled to put weather on the con list for this video because living in Oregon and in the Willamette Valley, guys, it rains here all the time. That is part of the charm of the Willamette Valley. But I put this on the con list because if you're not used to rain, you might be a little upset by how much it rains here. You can expect that it is going to have rainy, gray skies for about 7 to 8 months out of the year. This rain gives us the lush, beautiful greenery that we have everywhere. But if you are not accustomed to long, rainy winters, it really can be a shock to your system. And the other thing that we have here is sun seasonality, which means that on the shortest day of the year in the wintertime, the sun is going to be setting around 4:30 p.m. But that also means that it starts to get dark around 3 p.m., which is just crazy. And I guarantee it, you will start to feel sleepy earlier and you won't feel motivated to do anything or be outside because it's so fucking dark and terrible at 5 p.m. in the winter. As you can tell, I am in the dead of winter right now. And it's terrible. I'm ready for the sun. If you're not accustomed to having shorter days or just sun seasonality, it will be an adjustment. And my clients and myself, we navigate these winter seasons by getting our asses on a plane and going to a all-inclusive Mexico resort where the sun is actually shining. The next con on our list is that Corvallis feels a little bit isolated because of its location. This black circle here is Corvallis. This red squiggly line is Interstate 5, and then this purple circle up here, that is Portland. So it's gonna take you about 20 minutes to drive over from Corvallis to Interstate 5, and then from there you have about an hour to an hour and a half to get up into Portland. So Corvallis is not the most accessible city to Portland, especially if you're needing to get up into Portland with a lot of frequency. It can be pretty cumbersome getting out of Corvallis and getting onto the interstate to then jump up to Portland. Because Corvallis is a little bit more isolated and removed from Interstate 5, you don't have certain things like a Costco. So the nearest Costco is going to be in Albany, which is about 20 to 30 minutes away from Corvallis. This black circle is Corvallis, and then this red circle is Albany. Albany also has about 60,000 people, but it is night and day different from Corvallis. Corvallis does have your daily needs, you're gonna have shopping, everything will be met for you in Corvallis. But if you want more robust shopping or retail therapy, or you just want a spa day and go to the big city, you're gonna need to go to Portland to get all of those needs met. Corvallis is small enough that you really don't have these massive things like Nordstrom's, Restoration Hardware, Rejuvenation Hardware. You don't have any of that in Corvallis. You will need to go up to Portland to get those things done. But again, your daily needs will be met in Corvallis. Corvallis is about 30 to 45 minutes from Salem and Eugene. We've got Corvallis here in the black circle, and then to the south we have Eugene in the red circle, and then to the north we have Salem in the purple circle. Why I'm pointing this out is because Salem and Eugene are going to be the largest cities close to Corvallis. So if you're not wanting to go all the way up to Portland to get those big city needs met, you are likely either then going to be hitting up Eugene or Salem to get those bigger city vibes. Now, both Salem and Eugene have about 200,000 people, so the amenities in both cities are going to be more robust than what you find in Corvallis, but less robust than Portland. So there you have it, the pros and cons of living in Corvallis. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna wanna watch this one next. Bye friends!